welcome to Hutt Indoor Sports in Wellington for the finals day of the Indoor Cricket World Cup. 2002 was the last time New Zealand hosted the finals, and the crowd has turned out in force to support the Kiwis in what has turned out to be a trans-Tasman affair. Hi, I'm Craig Cumming and I'm joined by former Black Cap and indoor cricket representative for New Zealand, Scott Styris. Well, Scott, I'm relatively inexperienced when it comes to watching the game of indoor cricket, but what a week it's been.
Yeah, it's been great, and you know, we've seen some really exciting cricket here. The fielding on display in particular has been first class. The finals, 4 of them, are all Australia, New Zealand. Australia have been able to show their class and they've actually won the games quite comfortably. Hopefully that's the same, not the same in the final. We get a good even match.
Can New Zealand, who have made the final, it's a home ground, have they got the ability to knock over this Australian side that's never been beaten in a final?
Yes, they have, but you know, they're going to have to change things up a little bit.
We've just heard a little bit about the game from expert Scott Styris. Let's talk to someone who's a little bit more recent in the game, James Neesham.
I've played a lot of indoor and outdoor cricket, and the two are very similar games. But there are a few key differences with the rules and the tactics. Let's start with the batting. Batting in indoor cricket is fundamentally the same as batting in outdoor cricket, except for one major difference. In outdoor cricket, you can score runs all around the ground, whereas in indoor cricket, you've only got one narrow corridor to score runs in. You get more runs for hitting the back net and the side nets further down the court, and fewer runs for hitting it around here. But at the back of the court, there are fielders in the way, and it's a lot more risky to try and get runs down there. So what you'll see in the games coming up is that most batsmen will try and hit the ball into the ground and up around the top of the court where the fielders can't get the ball. One of the main modes of dismissal in indoor cricket is getting run out. Here we have a fielder in the front court at cover who'll be trying to get the ball and get it back to the keeper as quickly as possible. As I said before, one of the main ways of avoiding him is trying to hit it over him into the top of the net. Just like outdoor cricket, indoor cricketers have their own distinct style of bowling. But in general, the main plan is to try and tuck the batsman up so that they can't free their arms and play those easy shots up into the top of the court. When you tuck a batsman up, it brings the front court into play to try and create run-outs for the fielders up the front. Which brings us on to fielding, which is one of the most important parts of the game. The vast majority of fielding in indoor cricket happens on the front of the court, where the name of the game is to try and get the ball back to the keeper as quickly as possible to effect a run-out. So that's indoor cricket in a nutshell. If you haven't tried it, get down to your local Action Indoor Sports and give it a go. It's a great way to sharpen up your outdoor skills during the winter and a great game in its own right.
Well, Lyle, we're heading into the final. You guys have never lost one of these. How's the feeling in the camp?
Feeling pretty confident, but New Zealand are a great opposition. They've proven this week that they can fight hard, so we're going to have to roll on top of our game to come away with the win today.
Do you feel the pressure having had such a great history when it comes to finals, or is this team very much about making its own history?
Well, this is a pretty new team. We've only got 4 older guys, so you know, it's young guys looking to make their stamp on the world game, so hopefully they'll do well today.
And New Zealand, what do you expect from them?
I expect a lot of fire, a lot of passion, and I think it's going to be a really good game.
Taking on this in might of Australia, but the home court advantages, does that add pressure or excitement to the camp?
Both, I guess, you know, familiarity playing at home. I mean, we've played on these courts quite a bit to national and provincial tournaments, so that, you know, that's an advantage, sure. Playing in front of family is great, but it does add a little bit of pressure. We'll give it a good shake, though.
You believe you can beat this Australian side?
Definitely, yeah, definitely. We've got really good plans. We believe that we have the skills. I think that's, you know, that's what you need.
Hello everyone, and here we are at Hutt Indoor Sports for the men's grand final between Australia and New Zealand. You can see the teams just entering the court. We're on standby for the national anthems of both countries, ahead of what shall be a fantastic game to conclude the 2014 Indoor Cricket World Cup. cricket. It's a very simple game. It's all based on the fundamentals of cricket. Both innings will last for 16 overs. Each batting pair will face 4 of those overs. Each player will bowl 2 overs within an innings. When a wicket falls, the batsmen stay there. Instead, they lose 5 runs. Another unique rule is that the score must change every 3 balls. So if a batsman faces 2 dot balls in a row, the next ball, the score must change. That can come either in the form of a run off the bat or a stolen single or an extra. Looks like we're ready to get underway now. Vinesh Bennett will face the first ball. Good delivery to start, played flat from Bennett for 2 runs. Now, I do note that the New Zealand captain, Lee Kelly, is not playing this match. So I'll be interested to see who's captain of the New Zealand side today. A bit of a misfield there from New Zealand. They've let that get through for 3. There's a good example of that eye contact and trust from that call. Vinesh didn't look at the ball, looked straight at Rob Fitzgerald, who called him through for the run. Yeah, it almost seems height-based, doesn't it? That was about 1 metre above the fielder's head. He called straight away. In the end, they made it comfortably. A good call. And through for a single with 2 balls remaining in the over. Good confident start so far for Australia. Through the hands of the fielder. Ward, is it? Should have held on to that. New Zealand, if they're going to win this match, they need to take those. They need to keep Australia to dots. That will create the pressure. Yeah, well, and look for some change of pace here from Fellows. That's very, very fortunate for Australia that didn't result in a wicket. The shot from Fitzgerald popped straight back into the keeper's hands. On his swing, he missed the stumps. Here we see on the replay. Fuller delivery, and again through to the back net off the side net, so that's 4 runs. It's good cricket. And a great shot again from Fitzgerald. Brings the over to an end, and Australia, incredibly, are on 36 after 3 overs. This is just the perfect start the Australians were after. Let's see Bennett mouthing to himself, this ball, as he takes a single. Sign of a good batsman, just focusing on the next ball. He's not going to care that they're on 40-odd at the moment. Just focus on this ball. Get through. Well, they're in bonus territory, aren't they? Every run, he doesn't even have to hit the side net. Every run they get, it's more than they were hoping for. Another 2 runs to the total. I noticed that New Zealand in particular throughout the tournament have always appealed for that. I mean, that was never out, but you never know when an umpire might give that out, suspecting that it's come up off the batsman's shoe. Especially with TV cameras and for the final, they can review, of course, now. Yep. So you can just check. A single to finish, and Australia have posted 46 runs for their first partnership. Robert Fitzgerald and Vinesh Bennett have done the job for Australia. What a phenomenal start to this final. That's clinical, isn't it? I can't recall a dismissal in there. Because of that, it's just as good as it gets. If that's a direct hit, you'll find Mark Rice is out. There's the first wicket to fall in the Australian innings. Shot was too flat. Straight to New Zealand hand off the net and a direct hit, and Rice would have been well out. Mark Rice, 3rd most runs in the tournament to date. He's a quality bat, is Mark Rice, as he just shows there with a 2 off his legs. Phenomenal shot there from Lance McDougall. How calm does he look? Just cool, calm, collected. Gee, he looks like he could have a nap right now.
Well, that's the experience you're talking about, isn't it? Australia's sent out their big guns early in the experience department just to settle their whole side down, and it's worked.
See the keeper trying to fire the side up. They need a little bit of fire about him right now.
And that's the beauty of it, isn't it? When you've made a start like this, those 50-50 decisions on whether you take the run, it's not worth it, is it? Because they've made the inroads, they've got themselves to a good score. They can only ruin it with a couple of dismissals to finish what's been a good partnership.
And a dominant shot from Rice to finish the partnership. Takes them to 28 for the skin, and the Australian total to 74 after 8 overs.
Yeah, well done. Nice from Australia. They fought back well after losing a wicket. Second or third ball, I think it was.
One thing I noticed talking to the Australian captain pre-match and had an interview, he looked very calm, looked very relaxed. He said this is why they've come over here, is to play in these finals. He talked about being a young group, but he believes they've got the experience and the skill set to be able to take it out. So
he spoke about how calm he seemed. That's certainly one of the attributes of his game that I've noticed observing him over the years. I saw it in our national final in Australia earlier this year when Queensland played Victoria. Pressure game, and he was calm the whole time. Just kept doing the basics. He's a very, very experienced cricketer. He's just got better every year.
yeah, and you want that from your leader, don't you? You need your leader to be able to. It's such an emotional game. You know, the teams get up, they get down in the field. You know, there's a lot of high-fiving, clapping, but it's about the ability of actually staying quite neutral and be able to think clearly. And if your skipper can do that, that's really important.
2 runs.
Crucial for New Zealand now. They need to create a bit of momentum their own way.
Straight to the fielder. That will have to be out.
There's the opportunity, the pressure, the third ball strike, had to run. Good bit of fielding by New Zealand, they made it pay. Exactly what they needed to try and claw a bit of momentum back.
Great shot from Malteski. Another 2 to the total.
Yeah, just using the pace, playing it nice and late and getting that high bounce. And they've been able to do that most of the innings, hence probably the reason the guys in the front court are jumping, because they actually haven't been able to get in the game. So even there, that was a wide one, swinging away, but still to be able to get bat on it, you put it in the back court. No fielders there, it's a simple run.
Final ball now for this partnership.
It's been a great partnership, currently sitting at 39.
Two runs to finish. Incredible partnership. Once again from the Australians. On 115 with 4 overs remaining, Australia are in a dominant position.
The partnership's 46 for the first one, 28, and then followed up with 41. Very, very impressive.
2 partnerships of 40 plus in a World Cup final is absolutely phenomenal. Take nothing away from the 28 scored by the second partnership. Incredible batting from Australia. And New Zealand, no answers. Matthew Flores would be fairly happy with that for his first shot in a World Cup final. 2 runs off his legs.
Well, it's always interesting, the last pair turn up today. They either get the chance to put a little bit of cream on the top, or they also know they could be batting to win the World Cup. So it's a very, very tough position. The fellows currently New Zealand, the most wickets for New Zealand in this World Cup. That's well bowled. Wee leg roller. A little bit. People around New Zealand know Chris Harris, very good indoor cricket player as well.
Well, Fellows had a pretty ordinary first over, so far this one's a lot better on third ball here.
An opportunity.
Yeah, really well bowled. Very smart from Baker. He ran at it and just blocked it in the end.
Yeah, if he can get his length right, it'd be very hard to play. You can't just play the line and just hit through it or look to hit the net. You've got to watch the ball and see if it turns. Just like that. Bounce. Not a lot Flores can do with that. But he can't just hit through the line of it. He's got to wait to see the bounce, the turn. Let's see if we've got the in-swing variation, maybe just to change it up.
It's wonderful work there from Flores. We're down up for 2 wide of cover.
I actually think New Zealand's probably had its best couple of 3 overs with the ball. Pitch it.
I think that was a chance.
I think it was. I called it myself just because I'm used to watching. Hit the bat. Went up into the net. There's a chance for a catch, but it would have been unlucky. So there's good Australian support here. Questioning whether I'm actually in Wellington.
2 runs to Forrest. Well, I think a lot of Australians benefit from the fact that it's just across the Tasman. Here's that shot again. Yep, up in the air straight off the bat. That's lucky to fall safe. So it's, yeah, fairly cost-effective. A great shot from Baker there for the supporters of the Australian sides to come on over. Another single to Flores. Score slowly ticking towards that 150 mark.
Interesting to see as well, Australia all wearing the Australian cricket emblem, so it's the indoor teams affiliated to Cricket Australia.
Correct. So in Australia, Cricket Australia is the governing body for all forms of cricket, including indoor cricket. So you notice not just the emblem, but the uniform that they're wearing is identical to the Australian T20 side. So Cricket Australia fully supportive of indoor cricket as the 4th format of cricket in the country, and a perfect platform for junior cricketers, for female cricketers, as well as a way for all cricketers to sharpen their skills up. As Australia finish on 149 runs.
Wow, it's amazing effort. These two have put on 34 runs together. We go through the partnerships, 46, 28, 41. And the final one, they'll be ecstatic. A great start between Bennett and Fitzgerald of 46. And backed up by everyone. The one to me that was really Teskey and Dearness, 41. They played exceptionally well. The skipper led by the front. This boy's got number 1 on his back. And Baker and Flores brought them home with 34. So 149 for the loss of only the 2 wickets means New Zealand's going to come out and get 150. All the New Zealand bowlers tried their best, but they're all very expensive. Joseph was probably the best. 2 overs for 13, along with Victor Davies.
And Australia take their first wicket off the 2nd ball. Shorter ball. Hyman trying to get on top of it to play it down, chopped it onto his own stumps.
Well, for this pair, all they need to concentrate on is making sure they do this partnership well. Leave it to the next blokes to do the same thing, and then the last pair can worry about winning the game.
Reece Dearness well and truly producing the goods here for Australia. His 2nd bowled wicket in the over, the 1st over of the innings. Reece Dearness, take a bow. 3 for -10 off the first over in a World Cup final. That is incredible.
That's the shot I was talking about. The Australians, I felt, did so well in that first innings.
Yeah.
If you're going to have those guys coming into that front court, the 2 guys on the 3 line, then that area of the field, of the court, is wide open.
2 fielders on Hindman's leg side now.
At some point, as a batsman in all cricket, you're trying to look for predictability. 2 men on that leg side, it's a little bit unusual. You know that he's going to be bowling either in swingers or cutters, because you want to bowl where your fielders are to give you the best chance of outs. So there is an opportunity for the New Zealand batsmen to use the predictability of the bowler to their advantage.
Well played by Hyman. Took the fielders on, 2 runs.
And you've mentioned Baker as one of the main threats. If there was a bowler to target, in your opinion? Yeah, well played.
We're having a review. Rob Fitzgerald proving why he is one of the best fielders in indoor cricket. This will be interesting.
Yeah, if this is out, I think the New Zealand coach will be livid. Always reckon. Yeah, it is. Always reckon if you're not diving and you're only just out, it shows a little bit of a lack of desperation. And in a World Cup final, that sort of thing shouldn't happen. At the start of the over, I mentioned the only way this can turn into a horror show is if they lose a wicket here.
Yeah.
And it's taken a bit of sloppy cricket for that to happen.
And look, in terms of which Australian bowlers that they'd probably be looking to target, Matt Forrest would probably be one of them. I say that simply because it results in the tournament. He's gone for probably more runs than most in the Australian side, but it's situational. There's another referral. He's often bowled in situations where pairs are chasing skins and are therefore slogging. That sort of situation, so...
Yeah, it's out. One thing I noticed in the first innings, just to interrupt you there, I'm sorry, is that the Australians looked to go when they got the height. And whilst that didn't go anywhere near look like towards the side nets, it almost hit the roof. And the Australians would go there.
Yeah.
And if there wasn't that hesitation, as we saw, he was able to come halfway down and almost made it back. If he went straight away, then they would have made the single.
Two runs for Hindman. It almost looks to me as if the occasion's got the better of New Zealand. Mistakes like that one, that sort of hesitation and not going straight away. They're the kind of errors that I wouldn't be expecting New Zealand to make in a match like this.
So from this point on, it's going to take something special.
Going to have a look at this one. I see the Australian fielders indicating that they think Davy's bat might have popped up, which is why they're so confident in their appeal. Well, he's not even home. He's well out.
No. That's the big difference. This instant replay, it's always a lot closer than you think. I thought to the naked eye he was actually in.
Yeah, me too. I thought he was home easily.
But again, the Australians doing the damage in the first over of a partnership. It's a good shot. I think you can get a read. This is where New Zealand's experience comes in. Even sitting here live, you can see how his grip is. You can see the ball cross seam. He's not going to swing it if he's holding the ball cross seam. You know it's going to be a cutter. And I think New Zealand needs to try and use that predictability. We'll see an example here with the up close. It's a cross seam ball again. That's a good shot.
Yeah, Sharma's a talent. I think he's got a big future if he's only 18. He can be a fixture in this New Zealand side for many years now. Davies trying to make something happen. I think he picked the wrong ball to do that too.
Yeah, I was just going to make a point. The Australians have done really well keeping him quiet. For a guy who's hit the most sevens, managed to stay out of his arc, and you're right, he's picked the wrong ball. He's tried to force it. When in reality, they've actually done really well on that over. And that's what's killing them. It's just trying to force the pace. And that's the scoreboard talking, really. I mean, chasing 150, you sort of feel like you've got to make it happen yourself, and in the end you pick the wrong ball.
It's well played once again from Sharma. Davies going again. That ball probably there to do that too, but again didn't get the elevation on it.
That's it. Nice cricket. Utilising the bounce, strengths of the bowler. He plays a great shot, takes the easy runs on offer. It's all a little bit too late though, isn't it?
Two balls remaining in the partnership. Australia have once again done the job in this pair thus far. Davies once again trying to go hard, but up under that ball, hit it straight into his offside net. Easy catch, return catch for the bowler.
Yeah, it was premeditated, wasn't it? Wherever it was, I'm going to look at the back net.
It's a good shot there from Davies. A little bit too full from Lyle Teskey and put away.
That's a lovely shot. It's a great shot. In or outdoor, the on drive was just hit pure against the swing.
We still have not seen Vinesh Bennett or Lance McDougall bowling over.
Why would that be?
I'm not sure. I mean, it's obviously a tactic from Ross Gregory, but it's hasn't been that common an approach throughout the tournament so far. And it's certainly not a case of hiding them. They're both wicket-taking bowlers. Davies goes hard at it again. Hits a 7.
Wow, the maximum. That's a great shot. He's got a real liking for hitting down towards the back net. Even better shot than the one went along the ground. Beautiful. He had to get in his crease. He dived. Maybe a direct hit would have had him, but he made it. Good over for New Zealand.
Certainly is. If they can keep this up, they might give themselves a chance at that minor miracle.
Well, it's good batting. The key is, again, Australia only lost 2 wickets in 16 overs, 2 run-outs. New Zealand have got themselves in a position where it's sort of 2 steps forward, then 1 back. They lose a wicket, lose their 5 runs.
Played from Davies. And a good start. Punished from Davies.
Big thing also noticing, you spoke about the New Zealand fielders, the front court, about them jumping at the ball. They're trying to stop the ball. They're trying to predict, but they're off their feet. The Australians seem to just give themselves a little bit more time, and they're actually set. Then they got a chance to make a decision and get their hand in. It probably comes back to obviously the bowling being very good.
Definitely.
Yeah, another great example. Superb bit of fielding by Baker. Hit the side net. He just picked up hesitation between the New Zealand batters. He just flicked it straight over the top.
Oh, yeah. was pointing out earlier a wild throw that he made up to the top, but he's one of the best at getting that ball right, either hitting the stumps or right next to it from any position. And he just proved it then.
What he did there well is he actually had to get round his left armour and open the hips up. Shot there by Joseph.
Was an impressive shot. A good shot there from Fellows. Dennis with 2 balls remaining.
So the car that we're coming. Is he taking it to the airport?
Great piece of fielding again from the Australians. A good slap in from McDougall. We have had a review. It wasn't a direct hit, so I'm not quite sure whether or not it'll be out. It'll certainly be a very interesting replay to take a look at. Great piece of fielding, just too wide of the stumps. How quickly can Teskey take the bails off? I think that's still out.
Yeah, I think the question is the bail off. Yes, it is.
And that's out.
Australia really enjoying themselves. The bench is nice and relaxed. It's always nice when you know you've got the game in the bag heading into the final part.
And that's another wicket for Australia. Look, I have to say, Craig, there were plenty of occasions this week where the Australian side would have thought, look, this is going to be a real challenge. The New Zealand invitational side pushed the Australian side on both occasions. They played each other. It certainly made Australia look beatable. South Africa, in their games, managed to do the same thing. Yeah, Australia, by no stretch of the imagination, looked invincible during this tournament. They've certainly put up an invincible performance today. Now 68, with just 1 over remaining in the World Cup final. Australia just 8 balls away from retaining the world title.
Yeah, this is when they get excited. They'll be counting them down. Internally, there'll be a lot of emotions. They'll be getting very excited. Already a bit of backslapping going on and saying that's been happening most of the day, but it's a different feeling this time. It's a feeling of they know that they're going to be winners of the World Cup in 2000.
And Lance McDougall, second over to this pair, final over of the match.
I just wonder if also they've done a bit of technical work here and actually maybe they know what the New Zealand last pair are going to be, what their strengths are. And they know maybe Fallow struggles a bit on his legs, and you know, this is the perfect bowling to someone like that.
Knowing the level of analysis that Ross Gregory has employed this tournament and how strategic he and Billy Floros are about these things, I'd say that's 100% certain.
Well, I'm just looking at the amount of dot balls that they're facing. They can't get him away. He's pitching it outside leg stump. Finally, Fellows gets one away. There's a chance for a run out. And he's been given, I think. It's tactically brilliant, and they're getting the rewards. I don't have the statistics in front of me, but the amount of dot balls to these two. See the split screen out.
Great piece of fielding once again from Rob Fitzgerald, proving why he is regarded as one of the best sweeper fielders in that position. It has been for a long time.
Yeah, that just adds a couple more points to maybe him being player, the man of the match. So maybe New Zealand can look at something like this, the tactics employed and the way McDougall's bowling here. He's not express pace, but just the way he's getting the angle. It just creates run-outs. It creates pressure. This pairing now -5. They've actually looked like they've had no answers to this sort of bowling.
Yeah, I don't think you can sum it up any other way.
No. With 2 balls to go. It's on the countdown. Australia to be crowned world champions again here in the Hutt Valley. They will look forward to tonight.
Another wicket.
Well, it doesn't matter, but again, I think this is tactically brilliant.
It's one thing to have the tactic and another to execute it, and
Too right.
the Australians have executed it flawlessly. As we see the final ball of the World Cup. It is a dot ball. The umpire Jason Rhodes signal over, and Australia are once again the world champions.
Well, the teammates are all running through, the management are running past us, they're getting in a huddle, they're excited. This means a lot to them. Not easy to come when you're defending champions. You've never lost a final. It means you could have become the first team never to win it, but they've been too good today. They've outplayed New Zealand with all 3 facets of the game. They started brilliantly with the bat, they've then continued it on. They come out, their bowlers have been excellent, and their fielding has been nothing short of outstanding. New Zealand, well, they'll be disappointed, but they've done well to get themselves through to the final. Well, Lyle, we spoke before the match. You talked about some guys being a little bit inexperienced, but you've left your best performance to last.
It seems that way, mate. Our batting today was just exceptional. I mean, the boys came in, did the job, got the runs on the board, and that was, you know, always going to be too many. So
You've been involved in a few of these. How does this one rate?
oh, they never get old, mate. They're always good. It's my 4th one now, so it's exceptional, mate. It's a great feeling.
Australia just too good today.
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, like I said to Lyle, they're a well-drilled machine. I mean, they bowled in the right areas, and unfortunately, we weren't good enough.
They're a very good all-round side, backed up by their fielding. Must have been difficult, but the guys should be proud of themselves. You're happy with the way your week's gone and where you've ended up?
Yeah, I mean, we've been through a bit of adversity. You know, everyone had the flu and, you know, a few injuries. But, I mean, at the end of the day, we came down to 1 game. We had 1 shot to be world champions, and they were better than us on the day.
So disappointment for New Zealand in the men's final. Meanwhile, the Kiwi women's team had an equally tough challenge against the Australian favourites in their final.
Here we go, that'll be run out of the top. That's -5 for Australia. Dominant shot from Koski.
Same thing though, isn't it? A little bit of width.
Yeah.
They can just tighten it up nice and straight. You can't use it to generate some power, especially in the women's game where the power isn't quite so obvious.
Yeah, agreed. And then we get full onto the legs, and we just need to get the line in between where we tighten up their arms. They're just getting a chance to swing through the ball and hit it firmly, and that's very hard to feel when the ball struck firmly indoors. That's better. A little straighter. No runs for the Australians on that one. There's a touch. I think that one's out.
That one certainly looked closer.
New Zealand really desperate for this wicket. A 40-run partnership from the Australians here gives them full control of momentum. A wicket here will just drag New Zealand back into the competition.
Claire Koski, she has proven to be very quick. She's going to need to be here. She's out.
48 after 2 partnerships. Again, they'll be looking for just over 100 there. Koski hits another nice into the ground, into the net, halfway through the last over. New Zealand desperate to keep this Australian partnership in the mid-30s here, 32 at the moment.
That's a wonderful shot from Jelaine Carson. And Granny Polkinghorne, same thing. A wonderful, cool, calm, collected shot. A direct hit slap there from Lely, I believe it was. It's been reviewed, but to the naked eye, I think that was out.
Yeah, great bit of fielding. One of the slap hands that just managed to get on target. Exactly, New Zealand knew straight away. We have a look at the replay.
Yeah, well short of the ground. And that's just a great piece of fielding from New Zealand. Carson, I think the call was right to run. Direct hit, slap. Wonderful shot from Carson. Enough width. She could put it high into her offside net for 2.
Yeah, just the lack of pace just allows them to just wait for the ball and be able to hit down on it, get the high bounce up. Just allows those extra couple of steps down the pitch when you're running. It makes all the difference, even if it's a good bit of fielding.
Correct call to run through for a single. No direct hit that time. It's been reviewed.
Yeah, another great bit of fielding, another great slap and very accurate, but the gut feeling was myself that was in, but here we see the replay.
Still no bat in frame. No bail up yet.
Well, is the bat in the air?
Yeah.
I'm lucky I'm not umpiring, I gave it in, but that's to the naked eye, and I think in the naked eye you normally would. When's the bail up?
It's not up there, so that frame's not relevant.
Yeah, and is the bat in the air?
I think you'll find that it is. I can see some shadow underneath it.
Yeah, I think the bat's certainly up.
And it's about to be given out. Another great piece of fielding in the corner here for New Zealand. That's the second time in as many overs that Carson's been run out under those circumstances.
Well, it's 4 run-outs in the last 4 overs, which has been crucial. But another superb bit of fielding. To the naked eye, it looks like she's well home.
Front too short to start. Kent easily dealt with that. 2 runs.
Now, one thing I also noticed when I walk out the bat, I always look at the bats, the size that they're using these days, and how big they are. I mean, cricket bats have got bigger, they've got lighter.
Kyle's doing well to move back a little to hit that through cover point for 2. And edged into the leg side net for 2 runs. That's a little bit of a get-out-of-jail-free card for Wendy Kemp there, but she'll take it.
Well, it's a little bit of a 7-run swing, isn't it? When you think about it, it's a possibility of getting out. End up picking up 2. You get through to 129, 1 ball to go.
And an emphatic 2 from Oz to finish the innings, and Australia have posted 131 runs, which is a phenomenal total in a World Cup final.
We have a look at the partnerships, very consistent, but the one that stands out is the one at the end, Kemp and Niles. It was 49. They come together when New Zealand were able to pull back that third partnership to 24. They picked up run-outs. They were able to hold the momentum.
I think the Australians have got one foot on the throat, but you just never know. One partnership can change it, can't it?
Absolutely. I think that it'll have to be this one. For New Zealand to have a chance, this pair absolutely needs to score 50 runs. And that helps. 7 runs.
She's a power hitter. Comes with a reputation, and that's why I think she normally closes at times, and she's been moved up one just to try and give New Zealand a chance.
Well, she's given that out bold. Be interested to see a replay of that. It looked to me like the ball came off the keeper. Or has it bowled her? No, straight through. Well, what a delivery.
Yeah, I was with you as well. I thought that from our angle here behind, I thought that was sort of a ricochet, if you like, but it wasn't even close, really. It was middle and leg, was it? Huddleston's played outdoor cricket as well for New Zealand. So we're seeing her batsmanship as well. We've seen that from a couple of the New Zealand players.
Look, I think that ball was certainly there to hit. She just didn't get enough elevation on it.
Yeah, and that's the pressure. You know you need the back net, and you get something like that, your eyes light up. And I always found the full toss was the hardest ball to hit, especially the one around the waist. Doesn't matter how slow it was.
Well, it's the only reason I get any wickets at all.
I'm at that stage as well, too, I think.
2 wickets in a row for Australia.
It's all going wrong now, isn't it? You talked about
is.
getting to 80, 82 for the last pair. Well, that's not possible now.
It just comes as a result of the relentless and consistent performance that the Australian women are putting on. And Nicole Martin produces a man-cat. Jude Coleman has been an absolutely phenomenal player for Australia over a long period of time, and she hasn't lost anything. Case in point, Scott.
6th World Cup. How many more do you think she's got?
Honestly, she can keep playing as long as she wants. I think she's certainly fit enough, certainly good enough. The next World Cup, a couple of years away, but I think Australia will lose a significant amount of experience when she steps down. So I'd hope that she's keen to keep playing. Solid drive there from Tahuhu. Hiles quite smartly getting out of the way of that one. There's the edge. A really tough catch. That might have looked easy, but they're really tough to take that close to the net. Doble judged it well.
Yeah, you can only look like an idiot, really, can't you? Because you look at that and you say, well, that's easy, but it actually starts spinning off the nets too. And you find that it can just pop out of your hands when you're hitting the net. It just puts you off a little bit.
2 runs to finish. And Michael Guest calls over, and it is official. Australia are the Women's World Cup champions once again, defending their title in emphatic fashion, defeating New Zealand 131-61. They've been the standard in indoor cricket for a long time, and they remain that standard.
When it counted, we came up with the goods, which I'm pretty happy with, obviously.
Yeah, 131. Where were you at halfway? Is that enough, did you think?
Yeah, I thought so. I wanted 120 at the start of the day. Knew we could defend 100, but 130 I was stoked with.
As well as winning the senior final, Australia won the women's under-20 world final against the Kiwis. And in the men's under-20 final, yes, you guessed it, New Zealand took on Australia again.
Fantastic cricket shot. Not a bad delivery at all, Cam. And he's bumped that away and got his down up 3. Yeah, fantastic batting from Keys.
He's certainly risen to the occasion. It's been a really tight 4 overs from New Zealand. Smart calling there from the Australians. They're not taking any silly risks. They don't really need to.
No, exactly. It's actually one of the parts of the game that I've noticed already that's been different from those many years ago. We'd probably, back in the day, used to run on all of those. Probably why we were dismissed a lot more than these guys were.
The system in Australia has got so much depth that some of these players may even struggle to make their state open men's team. As we see an unforgivable mix-up there from Australia, an easy wicket gifted to New Zealand. Schubert with another 2 runs to the total. Australia now on 158 with 1 ball remaining in the innings. Further 2 runs to the total. And Australia have finished on 160 runs in the final of the Under-20s World Cup. What a massive total, Scott.
Yeah, exactly. It is. Runs on the board in a final. That's what it's all about. Australia have scored 160 against this team.
Jamie Diener, the 32 runs to top scorer in the innings. Both Blair Oakley and Ryan Dowse also putting in over 20, but As I said earlier, the scoring's been shared around all of the batsmen and only the loss of 4 wickets throughout the entire innings. It's a wonderful performance from Australia. Great shot from Rose.
And the leg spin is true, but I think this is played against Australia a little bit. Dan Rose and O'Sullivan really handling the pressure.
Final ball. Smart batting from O'Sullivan. That has a wonderful opening partnership from New Zealand. That is just what the doctor ordered. 39 runs from Rose and O'Sullivan. It was just short of the length and he's beaten him.
Well, it'll be interesting to see on the replay whether it dipped. Actually, it's one of the great strengths of a leg spinner. It looked like it created a Yorker, but nice and wide and just dips late.
It
Beautiful
does.
bowling.
Yeah. That is out without a doubt.
Well, that just comes back to the pressure. We spoke how often or how early do they go, and they've got to start taking risks. Well, New Zealand do. And it's always tough against the leg spinner. Again, the length being just back of the length, looking to use his feet. Couldn't get to the pitch of the ball. Just that nice little bit of dip and turn. As we see a good in-swinging Yorker there.
A series of deliveries from Blair Oakley.
Yeah, well, the New Zealand captain there, he's tried to hit it down, tried to get the maximum. Unfortunately, it hit the roof and went on the back wall and was taken comfortably. But I like that option. At the end of the day, he's got to, he still wants to give himself a chance. It is high risk, high reward. Oh.
Collins has absolutely smashed that at the Australian captain.
I didn't mean to say all that loud on air, but that would have hurt. I think the bowling group's decided to have a little bit of fun and try a few new variations. The guys in close aren't so happy.
Especially not when you're the captain.
Absolutely. Oh, he will pretty good soon. There's nothing like winning a world championship, but being the skipper makes it even more special. We're very proud of his group.
There's the last ball. It is a dot. And umpire Paul Watson signals the end of the match. And Australia are the under-20 world champions once again. As you see the rest of the team run onto the court. They finished the game 160 to New Zealand's 85. Captained by Ryan Dowson, coached by Ron Olsen. Congratulations to the Australian side.
Yeah, it was a pretty good performance, which capped off a pretty good week. We played pretty well throughout the whole game. We set ourselves up with the batted them out of the game, put 160 on the board, come out with the ball and bowled our areas and shut the game out from there.
Joining the Australian men are the world champion under-20 girls, under-20 boys, and the Australian Open women. Marks a clean sweep for the Australian sides at this tournament.
Well, it's been a superb tournament here in Wellington. Australia, well, they've clean swept all 4 grades. The silver lining is that the New Zealand sides were in those finals as well. Let's hope that our Black Caps maybe can go one better when they play in the World Cup in February, March. Well, thank you for your company. We look forward to seeing you next time.